Appreciate everybody coming out early again this morning. We're going to focus today on soil health, soil quality, soil whatever. I think it's a hot topic that's getting a lot of attention, and we've brought in some speakers from near and far, trying to get the expertise for these different topics, and hope you can gain some good usable information about helping to improve your soils. I know we talked yesterday a lot about cover crops, so today won't be too much on the cover crop issue, but that is certainly a key point of keeping your soils healthy, is keeping them covered, keeping them producing something green and growing year-round. That's all a key part of that. But today we're going to get into probably more of the soil science behind soil health and some of those issues. So knowing that's so important, Vinayak and I, about a year ago at this time, were looking at this issue and wondering why Ohio State hadn't got on the bandwagon yet. You know, Cornell and others, they're way out there and they've had their things going, and we decided Ohio State needed to step up to the plate. So we developed called a signature program, which would be a statewide emphasis on soil health. And that's what we want to introduce you to today. So you should have picked up one of these flyers. We'll talk about that, but the key part, there's a website on the back side of the flyer, and it's still kind of in development, but the website is soilhealth.osu.edu. So we'd appreciate your comments as you go on and access that. There's different links. We're trying to consolidate more Ohio-based information on this, so it's like a one-stop shop for you to gain all the soil health, soil quality information that you can gain and make some good decisions from. So that's the key part of this. We're going to be doing more outreach. You'll see field days. You'll see more publication information coming along. But when we talk about soil health, we talk about being smart and being climate smart. And that's kind of a new term. So what is a climate smart soil? Well, you might not be real sure about that, huh? But it's a soil, I think, that's improving. It's gaining productivity, and maybe in a more natural way, not just by pouring fertilizer on it, not just by doing a lot of tillage on it to increase production. So it may be more of a long-term investment, but we're trying to definitely get these soils smarter so they perform for us better. So it's going to take a multifaceted effort to get this accomplished. The science we have to start with to make our good decisions. We have to put that science out to the public so they understand it. And then we got to make sure it's practical, that we can practice this science and make sure the farmers are benefiting from it. Because if you're not profitable, nothing's going to matter. You have to have profit in your operation to make all this work. So soil health doesn't mean anything if you're losing money trying to do it, right? So we've started some of the process. We've got different research beginning with the cover crop systems. We've maintaining our long-term plots over 50 years now. Worcester, the Hoytville, and Wood County in the western branch. So we have 3 locations of our long-term no-till plots. So people from all around the world are coming and accessing these plots, and we're able to utilize what we've done in these soils over that long is quite unique in the country, even in the world. So we can learn a lot from the practices. We've had plowing versus no-till versus conservation tillage. So basically there's 3 systems there in different rotations. So it's quite a complex long-term plot, but we're maintaining it and getting some good information that we can all learn from that. We're going to be creating more journal articles and getting more outreach as time goes on. So we have this soil health card, which is kind of a qualitative way of testing your soils. Basically just taking a shovel in the field, getting the smell of it, looking at the earthworms. But it's a way you can kind of compare fields over time and see if you're improving those qualitative measures. So that's out there and available. Dr. Islam's going to talk more about his soil quality test kit. I think you've heard about that the last few years, and he's improving on that. So stay tuned more on that. And that is really getting widely used. It's a very simple in-field type of test that'll give you, again, a qualitative measure of your soil health. So I think that's something we're quite proud of here in Ohio, that we're developing that. And that's an example of that. Something newer is our soil organic matter calculator. Vinayak will talk about that. But we can look at different parameters in our cropping systems and make some long-term decisions and see what the impact is going to be on our soil organic matter with this calculator. So it's a free use. It's a spreadsheet, so very simple to use. So we've already got some publications out there. This is just a partial list of information. If you go to ohioline.osu.edu is where you can find a lot of these publications. So there's a lot more to come. But what we're trying to do is get certain specific topics, present them in a way that's easily understood, have some science behind it, some research behind it, and something practical that you can then take and use on your farm. So that's the purpose of these fact sheets. We're collaborating with Jim and others with NRCS. Since Jim kind of bailed out on us, we still haven't forgot about you, Jim. So it just makes a good partnership. I told Jim, nothing's really going to change. We're just going to keep doing what we've been doing, but he's making a lot more money doing it, I guess. I don't know how that happened. But the federal effort on soil health is something to really be recognized, that they've put this much effort. You know, they're hiring people and they're emphasizing this on a national scale. So that really shows to me the importance that the federal government has on the future of our soils. And why else would they invest this much effort into it? So they also will have a lot of fact sheets, a lot of publications, and we're collaborating with that to get some Ohio information there too. But if you haven't checked on that, just Google the Soil Health Initiative, Unlock the Secrets of the Soil. There's different avenues there through the federal website. Just tons of good information. And George Derringer has a display. How many copies of handouts do you have, George? About 200. So take your time at break, at lunch, just right outside the door. He's got them in the boxes. And George, you don't want to haul them home, do you? So they're very easy to read. They have good photos, and it helps give you that good background information to understand some of these soil health principles. So take advantage of what's available here. We've tried to give you a full picture of things. So as this gets more and more popular, we're seeing more agencies collaborating. Of course, the soil and water districts are integral to this process of collaboration and all the work that they can do to improve soil health. ODNR, we have Dr. Ratan Lau in our Carbon Sequestration Center at OSU. Dr. Lau is world-renowned. He's right in our back door here in Columbus. So we're taking advantage of his expertise while he's still able to help us. He's getting up there in years, but he's still kicking. So we got to take advantage of all that expertise around here. Working with the soil testing labs, as you can see, there's a few. I think Brookside at the present is the only Ohio lab doing soil health, but that's probably going to continue to expand. So we're going to work with those labs to make sure their processes are adequate for what our Ohio farmers need. So let's see, we have at least one here, I guess, don't we? In the front row, we got Ron Snyder here as one of our champions. He was on the program yesterday. But these people have kind of volunteered to be leaders in their communities, the way I see it. They're already practicing some of the principles we're talking about. And we're probably going to ask them to step up to the plate, help with some outreach, help with some field days. But if you know any of these gentlemen, if they're in your area, feel free to call them, stop by their farm. I think they'd be willing to show you what they're doing with cover crops and soil health and what they've learned already, and they're willing to share that information. So, I think that's pretty neat. Not many countries in the world are this willing to share freely what they've learned. In most places you pay, and you pay dearly for that information. but this is here for you not to make the same mistakes that they probably made to get where they're at today. So take advantage of that opportunity. So, we've got some challenges. How are we going to get all these different soil health labs to get on the same page? How are we going to get the reports to where we can understand them better? How are we going to get the price where we can afford it? How are we going to get our procedures down? How many samples per field? This is all figured out with the chemical soil testing, but we're at the infancy here with soil health testing. So a lot of unknowns. The national leadership is trying to figure it out. So stay tuned. It's not going to happen overnight. It took years and years to develop the process to test your pH, your phosphorus, potassium, to standardize that from all the soil labs. And we're not near there yet with our soil health testing, but I think someday we will be. And it'll just be, a common place where you test for your chemicals, you test for your biology, you test for your physical, and you get a nice report, and the agronomist can help you make decisions from that. So I think it's not that far off. Just stay tuned. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Vinayak. He's my cohort here in this process, and has some good information to hear more about the calculator and things.
All right. Thanks, Alan. Oh, this is really loud. I cannot do anything. It's stuck with my ear now. All right. Let me back up a little bit. There you go. Let me just check with the audience. I think Alan knows pretty much every one of you. I know Ron. How many of you are farmers in here? Okay. I see a lot of other folks. So how many are representing a federal or state agency like NRCS or SWCDs or any kind of agency? A couple. Okay. And any kind of educational institution, university? Wow. Nobody? Oh, I am. Sorry. Yeah, okay. All right. How about youth education? Anybody from 4-H, vocational ag, ATI? Oh, one person. Okay. How about, how many of you are related to organic farming? A couple. Okay. Good. How about urban agriculture? Okay. Okay. So I still see some hands that are not up yet. So I'm assuming you're folks who are retired. All right. But we are all here because we care about soils, and all these disciplines, all these agencies I mentioned. I think we're trying to form a network, or at least connect with all these agencies and all the folks, so that we can have some exchange about soils. We have been, excuse me, soil is not new to us. It's been researched for maybe more than 100 years, maybe more than that. The real research probably started when the first plow was invented, right? That was a good thing for agriculture at that time. Oh, somebody's saying no. Well, I think that was a good starter. If we had not messed up with soils, we wouldn't be here. What I'm trying to come at is whatever we started with 100 years ago, that knowledge or that wisdom may or may not be applicable now, right? Things are changing. Around that time, things were changing at a timeline of maybe 15, 20 years, in some cases 50 years. But now things are changing monthly and annual. My cell phone gets changed every 6 months. So the world is moving fast, but soils are not, right? Soils are still there. So we tried to come up with a list of challenges with respect to just taking care of our soils. Is there anything you do not see on this slide? Is there anything you would like to see for this program or anyone to address? Okay, that's good, Alan. We did a good job then. So we pretty much put together a list of things that are, we think, the challenges for Ohio's soil health. Now, let me ask this: how many of you have actually conducted a soil health assessment test? Oh, good. So that's gaining more interest nowadays. So we want to work on the soil health assessment part of it. As Alan mentioned, we have soil scientists here at Ohio State who have done some pioneering work in soil quality assessment. And soil health assessment and soil quality assessment, I think Steve will hopefully put some light on that, but they kind of go hand in hand. So we're trying to work on this particular aspect for developing these soil health assessment techniques, or what could be good assessment method or technique for Ohio or the soils of Ohio. So you guys get a lot of guidance and lot of interaction with respect to management aspect. I'm not a practical guy anyway, so that's why I bring up the simulation and modeling type of slides. Just another example of how this message of soil health management needs to be transferred, and how we need to make sure that the educators who are educating the farmers or the general public need to be on the same page when we are delivering the message. Here is an example. I apologize, these are metric units, but what these lines represent are the amount of residue coming into the system. And then on the y-axis we have the organic matter over a period of time. You can see 0 years to 20 years. Now what happens is, does that make sense? If you add more residue, your organic matter is going to go up over a period of time. That makes sense, right? So this is what is supposed to happen. So if you try to bring this type of illustration as an educator, it's good. But then somebody might think, oh, this is good. I'll just keep adding residue again over a period of times, and then I'll keep increasing my organic matter. Well, that's probably not the true case. So here is a simulation of 500 years with the same amount of residue addition, and see what happens to that organic matter. It comes to a constant value over a period of time. It's going to stabilize, and then it's not going to increase. Our folks, we're not thinking about 500-year timeline. So just things like these, we need to make sure everybody understands things like this, so that we can manage our soils, not just for the next 20 years, but maybe hopefully next 500 years. We do have some resources in and around the state where you can send your samples, but we don't really have a central or Ohio State soil health assessment framework as of now. So we're trying to, we did list these, and we're trying to list these resources on our website, but at the same time we're trying to discuss among our soil scientists what we can do to provide these types of services to the Ohio farmers. All right, I think Alan talked about this. So the whole idea of the program is to bring people who do the science, people who do the education part, and the people who do the practice, which is our growers, together. But at the same time, we're going to focus a little bit on our youth education. Where is that at? There it is. Okay, so we have one focus area that is 4-H ag, 4-H and vocational ag, and then we want to address the soil related issues in urban ag as well as the organic ag, because those are also important aspects. Okay, So as I mentioned, this is just some of the program highlights, some of the products that will come out of the program. We're hoping to have a regular newsletter that will go out to our subscribers, and then we're hoping to bring out some of the soil health assessment tools or kits through our program. Well, I'm not going to go through this, but just the overall goal of the program would be just to improve the health of Ohio's soils. So, and okay, and okay, here is our team. So far, we have a team of soil scientists, some folks from 4-H youth education, and we also have some who represent a little bit different focus group. So we have already conducted some workshops. Am I supposed to point this in that direction? Okay. So we do have some more field days and our newsletter coming up. It says January 2017, but we're running a little late, so just hopefully we'll get it out soon. The main thing I wanted to point out is the website. If you go to soilhealth.osu.edu, you'll find a lot of resources on that website. We also have a Twitter handle, but most of the resources, it says learn about soils, and you can see they're in different categories. So if you're interested in different topic areas related to soil health, you can go to those websites. We are looking for at least some collaborators. If you are a farmer, please do contact us. If anyone who is interested in contributing to this program we would like to welcome those as well.